guys, Melissa here at TCT Crafts. Today we are going to be making a fall wreath design. So again, this is my favorite wreath base to use. It is a 24-inch artificial pine wreath base, and I have already just kind of squished this down to make it a little bit more of an oval shape. So we're going to be using two different colors of 10-inch mesh today. I've already cut up a lot of it so that you don't have to sit and watch me do the whole thing. But in case you've never seen how I cut my mesh, this is how I do it. I just raise it up and cut. I do not measure. It probably is a good 20 inches, maybe 22 inches long, give or take. So that is how I cut my mesh up. You can use a rotary cutter if you prefer to cut it that way. I just don't do that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to start with the outer ring. There are two rings on this wreath base, and we're just going to add our 10-inch mesh all the way around the outside. So how I roll my mesh is I hold it up to my chest, I roll the ends in, and then I just scrunch it together. So I'm going to make sure that I am twisting these in there really tight. Let me do one more and then I'll move the camera down. We're just going to start with our outer ring. Okay, now let's move the camera down. You can get a better view of how I am putting this in there. So I'll do a couple more and then we will speed this part up. This is the boring part, and you don't need me, or you don't need to watch me sit here and put these all the way around. So let's do a couple more together. So I'm just switching between the brown mesh and the natural and white. And I'm just finding two of the pine branches and then twisting it really tight all the way up against that frame. Okay, so I'm going to finish this part. I'll go all the way around the outside, and then I'll come back when we are going to do the inside of the ring, and we'll do a couple of those together as well. Okay, so we've gone all the way around the outside. Now we're going to add some to the inside of these pine ties, pine branches, whatever you want to call them. So let me do a couple of these, and then we will fast forward to the good stuff. Now we don't need quite as many on the inside. We're going to have some items in the center that's going to cover that up, but we do want a little bit of mesh in there for our pumpkins to sit on. Okay, so I'm going to finish going around the inside, and then we will come back and start the fun part. Okay, so we have our wreath base finished, gone all the way around the outside and the inside, and we are ready to get designing. So, our star, our big item, is going to be this pumpkin, but we need to do a little surgery on it first. So, if you buy these pumpkins at the store, sometimes they are weighted and they have the little bags in them. If you're going to use them in a wreath, unless it's super light, you're going to want to cut that out. just because it's going to add extra weight to your wreath. So I can feel that there are 2 bags. So I'm going to cut a little hole right here. And I'm not too worried because this is going to be on the glued into the bottom of my wreath base. I'm just going to pull these little bags out. And you can save these and use them for weight fillers, like in centerpieces or things like that if you need a little bit of weight. Well, let's take this one over here, do the same thing. There we go. Okay, and now we're just going to glue this back ever so carefully so we don't burn ourselves. Again, this is going to be glued into the wreath, so you're not going to see this part. So I wanted to do this part with you guys. I'm sure if you are a more experienced wreath maker, you might have done this before, but just in case, ouch, that was hot. Just in case you have not, I wanted you to see it. Yeah, that was hot. So I don't have, usually in my shop, I have these little like clipper things that I'll like pinch them together. I don't know what you call them, kind of like chip clips. And then I'll just let that sit there while it's, but they're out in the shop and I don't have any up here, so I'm using my fingers. So I do not recommend doing this at home. Use something else to hold it down. Okay, so we have our pumpkin glued back. Now I want to position. I don't want it flat. Don't want it just like that. I want it kind of at an angle. Thinking kind of like that. So let's add our glue to the bottom. I'm putting that side that I have most of our surgery on, the part that's going to get a lot of the glue. Okay, I'm just going to hold that there for a second. Again, I want it kind of at an angle, not flat. Set that there for a second. Put some weight on it. Okay. Now I brought in another pumpkin. I think we're going to add in here as well. This one came from Walmart last year in the clearance section. Now I do need to glue this little stick back on here, or the little stem. And this particular pumpkin had a letter on it, but I'm not worried about that because we'll put that side down into the mesh and you won't even see it. So they had a couple of these that had different letters, and I just grabbed them on sale because I knew that I could use them by just sticking them down in the wreath and you would never see the letter. Of course, if you needed a certain letter, if you were going to do a monogram, then that would have been perfect, but this one is not, so. Okay, now, kind of see where I want this other pumpkin. I'm thinking kind of right in there. Or at the bottom. Let me see. We have our big sign that's going to go in here. So I think maybe we'll put our sign there. So we'll put this other guy down here. So let me go ahead and add glue. And I'm going to add some glue to hold these two pumpkins together. Take off some of these glue strings while that's drying. Okay, so this sign that I got, I've had this for a few years now. I'm not sure where I got it. So we're going to go ahead and use it. And it's a thicker sign. The wood on it's pretty thick. It's a little heavier than I would normally like to use, but you can see how thick it is. So what I did is I just took my pipe cleaners and then I just stapled them in, and then I'll add a little bit of hot glue. Not hot glue, but a little bit of hot glue onto those staples just for extra insurance. And then we'll also glue that sign into the mesh, and then I'll use the pipe cleaners just to secure it to the wreath base. Okay, so let me let that glue set for just a second on the sign before I go putting my fingers in it again. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and just add glue all to the back of this. So it's going to have glue and it's going to be tight. So I'm not going to have to worry about that coming off. So very carefully so I don't burn myself. Let's position where we want this sign in here. And once this dries in just a second, I'll reach back there and get those pipe cleaners and we'll secure it. So while this is setting there for a second, let me go ahead and get another glue stick going in my glue gun. Okay. So now I'm just going to take these pipe cleaners down through the mesh. Find the other one. There it is. Okay, and I'm just going to take and tie them around the ring, the outer ring of this base. Okay, I'm just tying it really tight, and then I'll cut that extra pipe cleaner off in the back, so we don't have it hanging there. Very good, very good. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so we've got that tied in and it's glued in. So it should not go anywhere. So that's what we got so far. Let's go ahead and do our bow next. So I think I want a bow right in here and then maybe one right up in here. So I'm going to start with this 4-inch. This is an old ribbon as well. Let's see about how big I want my loops. That looks like a pretty good size. Yeah, I like that. I think that'll work. Okay, go ahead and cut that off. Now I'm going to go in with this 2.5. I'm going to bring in that blue. So this is why I use my bow maker, because I always struggle with these hand bows. Okay, and then we'll go in the end with our 1.5 inch. It's a little bit different shade of this copper, sort of a coppery brown. I just want a little loop on that one. Go in with a pipe cleaner or a zip tie. Usually I use a zip tie, especially when I'm using my bow maker. But since I'm holding it in my hand, I'm just going to go ahead and twist it off with the pipe cleaner. Okay, I'm just going to kind of adjust my loops a little bit. Make sure they're fairly even. Okay. And then I'm going to find 2 pine branches. I'm just going to tie this bow in there. My loop just came out on that one, so I did not have that in there very good. So let me fix that. I'm just going to put it back in that pine tie and twist it. Make it a little smaller. And then I'll add a little bit of glue too, just to make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, so let me add just a tiny bit of glue so it doesn't come out. Now let's let's work on our tails. So on the 4-inch, I don't think I want to dovetail it. I think I'm just going to fold it up. Just sort of give it a curl. The same thing with this one. I will go ahead and dovetail that one. Okay, I'm going to dovetail this one. And this one will just fold. And then just kind of roll it up a little bit. Okay. Now let's fix. Now let's add a bow right here. So I'm going to make my loops a little smaller on this one. And actually, let me see if I want to do maybe like a half bow. Let's take and sort of come down on the side a little bit with it. I just folded that over right there. Let's add our blue. So you could do this all at the same time. I'm just doing it separately. It's just easier for me. Okay, and then let's go in with our 1.5. There we go. Go ahead and fix my tail. So on this one, let's roll it up. I'm going to give this one a dovetail. Okay, now down here. Go ahead and cut our tail. Okay, so again, I'm just going to fold that up. Fold this up. And then we'll dovetail this. Okay, so we have ribbon on this side. We need to add some tails on this side and not forget about our top and our sides over here. So I have just a little bit, of this 4-inch left. So let's maybe add tail on this side. Let me see if I want to leave it long or cut it. No, I think we'll cut it. Okay, so that's all we have for that one. So let's go ahead and finish our other tails with the blue and this copper. I don't know if you guys saw my fancy little trick with my feet. Put my legs to work. I think where I have that 4-inch, maybe we go in with like a little loop with this. Let's cut our dovetails. Let's do this one over here. And I think after this, I'm going to try something. We'll put this up on the easel. And let's finish it off on the easel and see if we like that view better. So I know sometimes with these large wreaths, it's hard to keep it all in frame. So maybe that will give you guys a better view. So you can try that. I'm going to add one more little tail over here. Okay, so let me pause. I'm going to put it up on the easel and then let's finish it out that way. Okay guys, we are back. I have it up on the easel, so I'm going to do my best to work with you guys on this view. I don't normally do it this way, so it may take a little bit of an adjustment, but we'll do our best. Hopefully we'll keep everything in frame for you guys. So I'm just going to start with these little fall bushes. I don't know what they're called. I think I got them from Michael's probably last year or the year before. They come with two. I'm just going to cut them into singles. And then we're going to start adding those. Let's see how many. Okay, let me do these two. many pieces we have. We have 8 pieces. So, I'm going to start and just kind of, let's lay these out before we start gluing. Make sure we like the placement. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of give this a bend up here. I think I'm going to take that little green leaf on there, off of there. Not a fan. Okay, let's take the green leaf off of that one. Let's do one maybe like down at the bottom. Don't like how that one's going in. Okay, I've got 2 more, no, 3 more. I'm not loving that, guys. I'm just not. I don't know if they're too long. I have a hard time when it comes to having stuff stick out of my wreaths. So let's kind of, maybe we need to make them shorter so that they kind of are up underneath a little bit more. There, I like that better. I like it not sticking so far out. So let me cut these down a little bit. Yeah, I like that better. By the time we get our other items in, I think it'll look good. And I'm going to space these out a little bit more so we've got enough to kind of add some up here at the top. This one is not wanting to go in there. go back behind this sign a little bit. Okay, that's better. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these in now. All right, last one. There we go. Okay, we'll fix our ribbon once we get done stuffing it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to add are these cute little blue pumpkin picks. So I'm just going to kind of take and fluff these out a little bit. I'm going to cut the stem down. And then sort of in between these, let's add some of these. So I'm not going to glue them yet, just so I can make sure we like the placement. And I think I brought 5 of these. I like how that kind of fills in the sign back there. and then we need one on this side. Let me step back and take a look. Okay, so I think, and I didn't bring it, so I'll have to wait till I get back to the shop, but I think I need one more right here. But we'll finish filling it out with the other items that I brought, and if we do end up still needing it, then I'll add that afterwards, but I think it needs something right here. Let's go ahead and glue these in. We'll have to mess with our bow. Okay, so let's go in next with some greenery. So I brought in some of this asparagus leaf bush. We're just going to cut these into little pieces. We'll add them throughout. I think I need to increase the height on my easel to make it easier. So I don't have to squat so much. But that's okay, we'll make it work. So I'm just going up underneath the tail, adding some under there. We're just going to add it all the way around the outside. It needs a little piece right there. I just wrapped that pine branch around that one a little bit. Ooh, these glue strings. I'm just using this to cover up some of our pine that's still showing. Now, as we start getting into the fall and especially Christmas time, I'm not worried as much with the pine showing because it kind of ties in with the season. Whereas in the spring and summertime, we want to really cover those up. Another one. Now I'm going to start kind of going up and creating a little bit of height, kind of fanning it up now. Cut this one down just a little bit. Okay, we need one back behind that. Over here. I'm just continuing to work my way around. I'm going to use my glue gun and just hit that a little bit. I want to make sure it's attached good there. We've got some smaller little pieces. Let's use those to kind of tuck in there. And then we'll cut up another one. I'm going to cut up one more so we can get some more longer pieces. love this asparagus bush. I used it at Easter time because it reminded me of the little, the greenery at the top of the carrots. But it also ties in really nicely as this filigree for this fall design as well. Okay, so we're going to put a little piece right there. I still think we need probably another pumpkin pick right there. I'll have to add that after, and then you guys will see it in the picture because I did not bring any more with me. Turn the heat down on that glue pot. It's a little too runny. It's a little hot. Turn it down a little bit. Okay, now we've got a few little small pieces that we can tuck in more towards the center, like maybe right up in here. Let's go up underneath the sign a little bit. Probably like right in there. Let me step back. I'm going to add one more piece right here. I think once we add this, that's going to help with that hole, but I'm going to go ahead and just add one more piece right back here. Yeah, that's better. That is better. Okay, let me look again. It's always good to step back and then you can kind of see where there might be some holes. I see a spot. Looks like we have a hole right in here behind this pumpkin. So let's add one right in here. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. I have just a couple, I have actually two little tiny pieces. So when I get ready to do pictures, if something is standing out, I'll have it to kind of tuck in there. Now the last thing I brought were these little coppery looking flowers. These came from Michael's. So let's add a few of these. Just kind of throughout. It'll help. Little filler. let's see, I have 2 bushes of these, so let's just use them both. And I probably got these last year or the year before. I'm trying to use up stuff that I have because, you know, a lot of the fall stuff hasn't quite come out in the stores yet, although they're starting to get them in. So I'm just going through some of the stash that I already have and trying to use some of these. So I'm just going to start tucking in. Some of these here and there. Let's see. I should have probably left a couple a little longer. Let's see, this one might be a little bit longer. Sort of give it a bend. Still going to add 1 pick there in this area. There we go. Okay, guys, I think we are done. Again, just to recap, I'm going to add 1 more of these picks right in here. I may have to move this one because I didn't think about it until I stuck it in there, and then I realized I'm going to stick the pumpkin pick there, but we'll see. But I'm going to put it right here, and I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Till next time. Bye, guys.